folks, we don't have much time. I didn't have any sort of intro montage, but welcome to the grand finale here at the Thousand Islands.
Salties will be a lot shorter and they'll have a more pointed bow.
Unbelievable.
Exact number of islands out here in the area. So I usually like to play a little game here at the beginning of my tour. So by show of hands, how many of you believe that there's less than 1,000 islands here in the region? So what they went ahead and did is established a criteria for what exactly an island is. So in order to be an island here, you have to stay above water 365 days out of the year, have one tree and one shrubbery, and that's how they classify the islands and got that number 1,864. There was an ice age, or one of the ice ages, ended up shaping out the river here, and parts of the rocks that weren't shaped down, I guess you could say, were staying above the water and ended up being islands out here in the region. Built by a man named George Bolt. So he was a European immigrant and came over to the U.S. and became a busboy down in New York City. So because of his work ethic and everything, he ended up working his way up to a manager position and became a very powerful one. So with that, he did get the wealth with his wife, Louise, and Louise is who he wanted to build this castle for.
Access to the front of them. But this is so cool. Oh man, what a view.
You're gonna leave here.
What a view. Oh boy, do I have a lot of things to say. So that was a boat tour. I decided, since we were in the Thousand Islands area, just to get a good scope of the area, and that was really the only place I could get a really good view of all the islands, all the attractions, from the castles to the boathouses, everything. And that was the only real way to get a real good glimpse. And I've said it before, I don't like tours, but I decided, you know what, might as well embrace everything about the tour, just have a little fun. And that I did. I hope that was a nice viewing experience. But of course there's more than just islands, much more. On the shores of this huge, vast area, there are a lot of these towns. For one, right now where I'm walking, this is called Alexandria Bay. If you can see the background, there's a lot of like tourist areas, tourist shops, and places to have fun when you're not boating on the islands. Alexandria Bay even has a nice peaceful harbor, and it's what you'd expect. Little shops here and there. Boats ready to take sail, or if they have a motor, just go a little faster. You know, places like these are just such a great getaway from the hustle and bustle of places like New York City, and that's why we're getting away from these places. And I know this to be a fact, because speaking of New York City, I was talking about Millionaires playgrounds back in Watertown. There's no place better to be a Millionaires playground than the Thousand Islands. This is exactly what the Millionaires of New York City, this is exactly where they went to escape the city burdens and just have a nice peaceful time. Here on the St. Lawrence River, who wouldn't want to resort here in the Thousand Islands? I know if I had all the time in the world and I didn't dedicate my time to the coverage project, who knows, I may just want to resort here, relax, have a good time. After all, there aren't too many cares in the world that you really need to focus on here. You just mind your time in the peaceful St. Lawrence River and its adjacent bays, and just have fun in the nice towns like Alexandria Bay. But Alexandria Bay is not the only town. Let's take a trip to Clayton, another one of these quiet, scenic towns. You know, I thought this place would have a bit more of Thousand Island dressing. So far, I have not seen any sign of it. So we're now in the nice little village of Clayton. Once again, similarly to Alexandria Bay, this town borders the St. Lawrence River. Small town charm, really strong with this place, Clayton. But it gets even better. Let's catch a better view on the shores of Clayton, right next to the St. Lawrence River, which I keep talking about. I mean, seriously, what is not to love about this place? Everything has this charming boating and marina culture. And it's only natural because we're right on the riverside. Take a look. Alright folks, this is the St. Lawrence River. Here in the Thousand Islands, the St. Lawrence River is everything. So let me fill you in on why this river is so important. So as we went on our journey, we saw different Great Lakes. First Lake Erie, then Lake Ontario, and now here we are. As those waters from the Great Lakes flow, it eventually reaches a point when there's no more Great Lakes, so it all has to flow into one large river. This being the St. Lawrence River. And the Thousand Islands is sort of where Lake Ontario has all that water flowing into a bottleneck point. I'm just going to sit down here for a bit to tell you all and further explain why this river is just of such significance. So because of this river, for hundreds of years, both Canadians on the other side and Americans on this side have used this river for things such as shipping, transportation of goods, because this is basically the one way you can get from the Atlantic Ocean to the Midwest via the Great Lakes. Before the advent of the railroads, and quite some time before the advent of the superhighways we call interstates, there was really only one way to get good transportation. You couldn't really walk through the land. I mean, you could, but it would take quite a long time. So what you would have to use are the rivers. These were the highways back in the day. First it were the Native Americans, like the Iroquois and the Mohawk and the Algonquin, who used this river to transport themselves to get from one point to another. Then it was the English and the French as a way to transport fur from the New World here back to Europe. And then it is sort of used as a natural border between America and Canada. So this river has many purposes. If I hadn't said it a million times before, it's beautiful. So here at the Thousand Islands, we're having a good time right next to the St. Lawrence River. I may as well just spend the rest of the day relaxing here in Clayton, New York. It's a sunny day, it's a nice day. Why not take advantage of the moment? Oh, even better, a map. We can recap our trip in its entirety. So first we were somewhere here around Letchworth State Park. Then we went up to Buffalo, then Niagara Falls, and then went to Rochester, all the way up to Watertown, and now we're all around here. We took a boating tour through these islands, Alexandria Bay, and now at this moment we are in Clayton. Time to spend the rest of the day here. I will see you at sunset for something kind of special I want to share with you all. Alright folks, as promised, here is the beautiful sunset. It's actually going down very fast. This sunset is really cool. I have never seen in a long time a red sunset. So it's a gorgeous sight here on the docks, right at the St. Lawrence River, in the middle of the Thousand Islands. And I just wanted to say, what an extraordinary trip. For something that I thought was going to be a minor thing, we really covered a lot. Culturally, geographically, nature, everything. I mean, I'm tempted now to just stay here. So much better than the rest of New York City. I mean, you have hot dog stands in New York City, but we tried the garbage plate in Rochester and Buffalo Wings in Buffalo. I mean, you could talk about Central Park in New York City, but we definitely, by far, saw a lot of nature that I think beats Central Park. And from my experiences, the people were very friendly, and so altogether, there is so much you can do in upstate New York than just take another trip to New York City. My goodness, that sun is setting real fast. You can barely see it now. It's only a crescent or just a sliver of the sun. But it sure is beautiful. You definitely cannot see a sight like this, as gorgeous as this, in New York City. I think we definitely accomplished the goal of our Get Out of New York City trip. We've definitely achieved it, by far. So, additionally, I wanted to share with you my deepest gratitudes. Over a year ago, actually, a year ago to this day, May 25th, I had just finished filming my first video. This was months before I even conceived of starting a YouTube channel. Back then, I just wanted to see if I had what it takes to film myself in nature, and I just conceived of this idea of, what if I do something different with my life for a good amount of time? And a year into this, I'm very happy and thankful to say I am proud of what I have come up with. And of course, in the future, there will be tons and tons of future adventures that I cannot wait to share with you all. What started out as just a simple excursion to Watkins Glen State Park, still here in upstate New York, has now evolved into this channel, The Coverage Project, where I'm very glad to say that a small community has sort of developed out of this, and I hope to grow and grow and grow this community and foster it with as much care and as much effort as I possibly can. So I just wanted to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for keeping with this, for continuing to support me through these adventures that we go on. It's been a wondrous time. So before my camera runs out of memory on this card of the camera I have, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you very much. So, to close this off, sitting at the docks in the Thousand Islands, of all places, more travels to come. I will see you at the next location.